Weekly Creativity Cocktail, powered by the Rising Tides charity. For all of those who have listened to our podcast in the past, you know that we're here to give voice to those who are creative in our community and those who may be struggling or having a challenge and distress. So we know that you are, as a creative person, you may have had moments or you may have never decided to become creative for whatever reason. And our goal is to make sure that by listening to this podcast, that you would get one word or two words that may inspire you to either keep going or to start going. Today we have a wonderful guest on the podcast. Mia Walter is on with us. So say hello, Mia, to everyone.
Hello, everyone.
So Mia and I have had a chance to work together on a few projects, specifically around the theater world here in Atlanta. One thing I can tell you about Mia is that she's unbelievably thorough. One time we were working on something around creating marketing and creating a kind of a roadmap for what a collective of theater people would look like, and Mia stepped up and stepped in, and she had created an unbelievably fantastic proposal that got everyone who was involved really engaged and really excited. So I know that kind of is still out there a little bit, Mia, but I just want to tell you personally, I appreciate your thoroughness, and I thank you so much for that.
Oh, most welcome. I love working with the collective.
Yes. So Mia, let's do this. A couple of things. We're going to talk a little bit about you, and I'm going to ask you for some of the ways or tools you use to kind of get into your creative space. But one of the things I think everyone in the audience will be excited to know, I know I'm excited, is that we've talked to people from all over the country and all over the world, and Mia is the first person we've ever had from Oklahoma, and specifically Tulsa, Oklahoma.
No, I'm from Oklahoma City.
Oh, Oklahoma City. Oh, so
Yes.
so the first person we've ever had from Oklahoma City, and I think I'm referencing maybe one of your plays or something. Um, but it's amazing to me because as we were talking earlier, I was trying to get a sense as to have I ever been there. And for those of you who know me, know that I travel a lot or quite a bit, and I haven't been. So, Mia, I've got to make it a mandate or make it a mission to get to OKC and Oklahoma one day. So it's a pleasure to have you.
Most definitely.
It's a pleasure to have you. Tell everybody who have heard your voice for the first time a little bit about you. Tell everyone a little bit about Mia.
All right. Well, a little about me. I am a playwright, an actor, um, and dabbling in screenwriting as well. I'm the type of writer I just want to create things that's going to empower, enlighten, and just get people motivated. Anytime, through storytelling. So that's like my whole mission is to empower, enlighten, and motivate people through storytelling. So I love history, especially African American history. I love Black history. So I'm like a history buff. I research, a lot of different things that has happened, and within our community. And I like to, bring it back to the community and enlighten, especially the youth about our past and what's going on. So yeah, that's a little about me. I love poetry. I started out doing poetry before I became a playwright and screenwriter. Poetry was my first passion. It was my baby.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that. That's really cool. So I went to a production. I don't know how long ago this was. It's had to be maybe getting close to a year, where Mia was producing one of her impactful shows that she was just referencing, and it was so powerful. It was about the kind of the Black Wall Street movement, if I have that right. Mia, that was so amazing. Tell the people a little bit about that without giving it all away.
Okay. Well, basically, the play is entitled Deep Greenwood. It's a hidden truth about Black Wall Street. It kind of tells how Black Wall Street got started, the years that it thrived. It does talk about the Tulsa Race Riot of 1921, and it also talks about how they rebuilt after the riot. Because I always tell people I'm from Oklahoma, and I never knew that they rebuilt after the riot. I thought after the community burned down, it was done, it was over. So when I started researching it to create this play, I found out all this other information, and I was like, oh, yo, I have to share this. So, the play tells the whole story.
That's fantastic. Are you producing that again? I think you might have referenced something that's upcoming. Yeah, tell us about
Yes,
that.
so I'm going to be doing the play in Oklahoma City on November the 15th, and I'll be doing it in Tulsa, Oklahoma on November the 16th.
Oh, that's where I heard Tulsa. So yeah, everyone
Yes.
who's out there, get your plane tickets, get in your car. Make sure that you can get out to see that. At the end, I'm going to give you opportunity to share any of your contact information and how people can find out more about it. So let's shift gears a little bit. So you mentioned that you're a playwright and an actor, and then the play that you produced, you were in both, if I recall. We're doing both, and actually doing some directing, if I recall. But tell us, those who are listening, like, what tools do you use as a creative person that helps you to be the most creative? Whether it's an environment, whether it's where you journal or write. Tell a little bit about how your creative process works.
Well, as a writer, it's just going to be different, but I like to write in a chaotic situation. So I do my best writing in like a busy restaurant where everybody's talking, is really loud, and I can sit there and then completely zone in on what I'm writing. And I do like my best writing in that type of environment.
Wow, I'm the same.
So
I'm the same way. I go to like loud Starbucks in Midtown and just sit there with my laptop and my headphones, and some of the best stuff comes out of that. Wow, that's cool.
yeah, it's awesome, and I'm really old school. I can only write pen and paper or pencil and paper. Like I can't type and flow. Like it doesn't flow as well as it does when I write it with a pencil or a pen on the notebook paper.
Oh wow! So then, when you write it, when you write it on pen and paper, do you transcribe it into something else later on, or do you do something like that?
Yeah. So I use a software on my laptop called Final Draft.
Yeah.
So after I write it, then I type it into Final Draft. Because of course I might have X'd out one complete page and totally rewrote that. So,
Right.
but I can do it better with a pen and a paper than just typing it. I don't know, it's just something about how it flows out.
Yeah.
And like if I'm typing it, it sometimes cuts off my creativity, my creative flow. And so I've noticed that I can just go to a pen and a paper. Like, no, let me just pen and paper this.
Yeah, I've heard that, that when you write something down, it triggers something in your brain differently than when you type it. So that's really interesting to hear. I think I'm becoming like in the Matrix or something, because I do like to write down things like on my day-to-day stuff, all my thoughts and concepts, but I have become a little used to typing my stories. It's so fascinating how each person has a different way of being. So you are from Oklahoma. How long have you been in Atlanta? Like a long time? How long have you been here?
4 years this year.
Oh wow! What brought you to the city?
Originally, I came to Atlanta because I had wrote this TV series I was trying to pitch.
Wow.
But in the middle of trying to pitch a TV series, I met this man in a production company. And he was like, you said you're an actor, but you're also trying to pitch a TV series. I was like, yeah. He's like, well, what do you want to do? I was like, I want to do both. And he's like, well, you need to master one. So then I started taking acting classes. And then acting classes took me, my acting coach was like, hey, do your TV series as a short film. So I started doing my TV series as a short film, which then I was introduced to Darrell Daniels. And he's like, do you have any plays that you wrote? And I was like, yeah, I wrote a play about Black Wall Street. Then Black Wall Street came to life as a play. So,
wow. So,
and I dropped the TV series.
well, I'm curious now. By the way, you mentioned Darrell, who's a great friend and a brother of mine as well. So you mentioned a TV series. What was it about?
So the TV series was called Next Level, and it was basically like a more modern day, different world. Oh. So it was about, students at HBCU, and it was like international students along with, people from all over the United States. Well, like 4 different people from different walks of life. Like some people were from Oklahoma, of course, I had to represent Oklahoma. Right. Some people from Brooklyn, New York, Florida. Then I had somebody in there from France.
Oh, that's my town, Brooklyn. That's awesome. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
You should get the. You should. Yeah. I think that has a market. What you just described there, what you just pitched. You're not pitching to me. You're just talking to me. But if someone's out there hearing it, I think that's there's an audience for that show.
Yeah, I put so much into the show. I researched every class that I had in the show. So everything about the class is like, what would have actually happened in a real class. But it takes place in in the 2000s, like 2003, 2004. So it doesn't take place in the now. Right. But because I felt like I could connect more with that era, because that's when I was in college. And college has really changed now. And there's a show out called Grownish that I do watch. Oh, yeah. And it talks about the more modern, it talks about modern college life. And I don't really like it. I like the show, but I don't like how college is now, and how it's depicted. It takes away from the culture of it, like how it was when I was in college. Right. So I was like, I would like to see that era, Yeah. So, yeah, that's so I wrote it kind of almost in that type of, time frame.
I wonder, has there ever been a theater production about that experience? And it just sounds so compelling what you're describing there. I was like, I would love to see that show that you're describing, but I'd also like to see that on stage. I think that would be great if it was on both.
Yeah, I actually wrote 6 episodes, and I wrote like a 12 episodic Bible. 12. I outlined 12 for the episode. I wrote a 7-season arc. Wow. I was like deep in it, So like I already knew what the show was going to be like, how it evolved, and all of that. I want to eventually pick it back up, but I want to right now put into making Deep Greenwood what it needs to be. Gotcha. And then I want to pick back up Next Level.
Yeah. You've got some great stuff there, because your theater production can be a movie and your TV show can be a theater production. So that's pretty awesome. So since you've been here for 4 years, you've got a unique perspective on my next question. So when you think about the Atlanta creative community, what are some of your thoughts? What are some things that are going well? What are some of the things that are opportunities for us in the community? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, what I've noticed about Atlanta creatives is that what I really like is that we support each other. I've never seen anything like that before. So, the different playwrights that I've met, even screenwriters that I've met here in Atlanta, if I have something, they come and support me. If they have something, I go and support them. And the support system is great here. So I absolutely love that. And we kind of feed off of each other. So, for example, yesterday I met with Jason Louder, Jason. Yeah. And he really poured into me yesterday. And I was so grateful for that. And I was so thankful because I did not have that type of support from creative people back in Oklahoma. And I was like, man, this is just so awesome. So that's what I like about the Atlanta Creatives.
Yeah, you make such an amazing point there. Oh, Jason and Darrell and many others are really like that. I've been here for quite a while, and it is different than, like, for example, New York, where I come from. Atlanta is just this wonderful place. Now, we got our challenges, but they're so small compared to the abundance of giving that we give each other. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It really is. So tell me about this. Like, who are some of the people that you look to or you've looked up to in your life, or that have currently given you some inspiration? So you just mentioned Jason. Tell us about some other people who've been impactful in your life.
I already mentioned Darrell. There was a lady I met at the Atlanta Theater Festival. Her name is Dr. Maisha. Oh. And I ended up meeting with her outside of the Atlanta Theater Festival. And she's a theater teacher out at a college. I can't even think which college in Georgia. But she really gave me some really good pointers about what to do with play and how to, really take it where I need to take it, and about, even going back to school and finishing my degree in theater. So that was very powerful. Also, I had a mentor named Kevin Oliveira. He passed away this year, but he really poured into me before he passed away. So he used to teach, I think it was theater at Clark Atlanta. And so he had a lot of great pointers, and he actually helped me come up with a budget for my production. He had it outlined and everything. So I never had, anybody to tell me how to do a budget list and, and how to, get everything together. Like, he told me to get my LLC. He's the one who really got my business together, because he told me exactly what to do. And another person who inspired me to just go ahead and push the button was my friend from high school named Chanel Martin. She actually has her master's in chemical engineering, and she's like a motivational speaker, And she told me, she's like, hey, you need to create a website. You need to do this. You need to do that. And I was like, well, Kevin told me that. She's like, well, you need to do it. And I did it that night. And she was like, well, I told you to do it, but I think he's going to do it that night. So those are some of the people that have really inspired me here in Atlanta.
Oh, man. That is really incredible. Those people seem to have really, and I'm sure it was mutual. You probably were giving to them at the same time, but that seemed like that was such a powerful impact on what you're doing. And that probably have led to your really thoroughness in everything that you do. So that's great. This has been great to talk with you, Mia. And I, like I said it before, I thank you for all the things you've done. A lot of times when I come in and ask that question about who inspires a person that's a guest on the podcast, I'm talking about someone external. But one thing I can share is that all of the guests, including yourself, are very inspirational to me. My creative journey has been all my life, but as you probably can imagine, there's been moments where it wasn't like that for a period of time. And every time I talk to someone like yourself, I just get so reinvigorated in regards to that this is what God has intended for us all to be. We have been created on this earth to give to others and to create things that don't exist. And so it's so awesome to talk to you. Tell the people here who have heard the things that you've shared and are excited to know more and to learn more about you. How could they reach out to you? How could they get in touch with you?
Oh, okay. Well, I have my website, deepgreenwoodtulsa.com. That has links to my social media on there. It has the trailer to my play. It also has dates when the play is company, and it has information about Black Wall Street on there as well if they want to know more about it. I've put a lot of links on there for them to, look at research on their own if they wanted to.
That's awesome.
So that's one way. Another way is my Facebook is Mia Simone, and my Instagram is Mia Simone Artist.
That's awesome. Can I ask a question about the Simone? Is that like your middle name, or is that like your pseudonym or something like that?
Yeah, it just fits me.
Because I was talking to someone the other day about you joining the podcast, and they're like, "What's her name?" And I was like, "Her name is Mia Simone." And it's like, "Are you sure that's her whole name?" I was like, "That's what I know her as. That's her name." So it's worked because I call you that all the time, so it works out quite well.
Yeah, I love that name. Like, I always tell people it's almost my alter ego, and it's also like it's not my creative side, but it's more like my acting, like my dramatic side is Mia Simone, and as a writer, my real name is Michelle Walter, and as a writer, that's kind of what I connect with. But as an entertainer, when I'm out, it's Mia Simone. When I'm doing poetry, it's Mia Simone.
Oh, that is awesome.
Yeah.
Well, the audience appreciate you giving them that insight into how you do that and who you are. That's fantastic. So, last question here, Mia. So, are you ready?
Yeah.
So, last question. So, if there's somebody out there and they are or they were creative and they don't know what to do. They don't know what the first step is. They don't know how to make sure that they push along. What is some advice you can give to those people in our audience who are like, I want to get going, or I have been going, and I'm just, I'm not getting where I need to be? What is some advice you give to the creatives that are listening to us today?
I would say first things first is self-love and self-care. So definitely pick some affirmations that really speak to your life and to and really breathe life into you. So I would definitely start there. Taking care of your mind, because if your mind is not in the right place, your creativity doesn't flow. So I would say definitely pick some affirmations out. I know one of mine is I'm destined for greatness. And that's something I remind myself of every day and every time I start to lose that creativity. I also, try to meditate, get in, my zone, and block everything else out, because the world can sometimes be heavy, and, it can also cut off that creative flow as well. So sometimes we gotta, get in a quiet place to ourselves and, meditate, do some affirmations. And then after that, I would say also connect with other creative people. A village, sometimes it takes a village. So, definitely don't feel like you're in it all alone. Other people are willing to help and to get their creative juices flowing again. So,
that is some great advice. All of those things are just really powerful. The one you mentioned about meditation, that's had such a direct impact on me over the last year or so as I've been getting more involved in that practice. And it's just opened up a whole world of possibilities. Mia, it's been so amazing to have you today. Those who are out there, Mia is exemplifying and epitomizing what we talk about with the Creativity Cocktail, where we get together and we talk to different creatives and their process and how they're making waves and making mixtures and concoctions within our community. So, Mia, it's been fantastic to have you. I hope you will join us again.
Most definitely.
So, everyone out there, please, let's collectively thank Mia for joining us today. And again, this is the Creativity Cocktail powered by the Rising Tide